The prison guard didn't just hit Esther. She hit her like Esther wasn't human. Move. The baton landed on her back. Esther stumbled forward. 15 years ago, those hands wore diamond rings. Today, they were cracked, dry, shaking. She once hosted charity galas. Now she slept beside a hole in the ground they called a toilet. 15 years. For murder. For drug trafficking. For a life she swore she never took. And it all began with 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes of feeling unseen. Esther was a beautiful young woman. Her skin glowed. Her eyes sparkled. Men admired her. But she chose to marry Michael, a calm and soft-spoken government worker. Michael worked with the local government council in Benin City. He earned a small salary. Just enough to feed them. Not enough for Esther's dreams. He was a good man. A very good man. He worked hard. He came home on time. He never drank. He never cheated. He prayed every morning. Esther's mother said she was lucky. Find a good man, her mother told her. Not a rich man. A good man. Michael was good. But he had a problem. In bed, he lasted 2 minutes. That's it. 2 minutes. Then it was over. The first time, Esther thought it was because he was nervous. She told him, "It's okay. Next time will be better." Next time was the same. And the time after that. And the time after that. Esther tried everything. She wore nice things. She did special things. She read articles about how to help him. She prayed about it. Nothing worked. After 2 years of marriage, she was frustrated. She was hungry. She felt like something was missing in her life. Michael loved her, but love was not enough. She started going to salons more often. She started spending more time with her friends. She started wanting things Michael could not give her. A man who could stay. A man who could make her feel alive. Michael noticed something was wrong. "Are you happy?" he asked her one night. "Yes," she lied. "I'm happy." But she wasn't. That's when Esther met Dora at the salon. She was different from other women. She was bold. She wore expensive weaves. She had the latest phones. She wore gold jewelry everywhere. Her nails were long and painted. She smelled like money. She was unmarried but always had cash. "How do you do it?" Esther asked her one day while they sat under the dryer. Dora smiled. "I'm smart. I don't depend on any man. I make my own money." "How?" Esther asked. "Different ways. Importing. Exporting. Business. You know." Dora was vague, but Esther didn't care. She wanted to be like her. Dora invited Esther out for drinks. They went to clubs in Benin City. Esther saw how men looked at Dora. How they bought her drinks. How they gave her money just to sit with them. Esther wanted that too. "You're beautiful," Dora said to her one night. "You could make real money if you wanted to." "How?" Esther asked. "I know someone. His name is Steve. He's very rich. He likes pretty women. If you meet him, your life will change." Esther should have said no. She didn't. Steve was different from Michael in every way. He was tall, dark, muscular. He wore gold chains around his neck. His car was expensive. It smelled like expensive cologne and leather. When he looked at Esther, she felt like she was the only woman in the world. "You are stunning," he said when they first met. "I have never seen anyone like you." He took her to restaurants she had never been to. He ordered wine she couldn't pronounce. He paid for everything with cash. He tipped the waiters like they were his brothers. He made her feel special. "I want to take you places," he told her. "I want to show you the world." Michael never said things like that. Steve bought her gifts. He gave her money. He took her shopping. "What do you need?" he would ask. "Nothing," she would say. He would give it to her anyway. Michael noticed everything. "Where are you always going?" he asked one night. "To Dora's house. We are working on a business." "What business?" "Just something small." "Don't worry." He worried anyway. But he was too gentle to push. He just suffered in silence. Esther didn't care. She was too busy falling for Steve. In bed, Steve was everything Michael was not. He was strong. He was confident. He lasted. He made Esther feel like a real woman. She would lie in his arms and feel alive for the first time in her married life. She told herself she would leave Michael soon. She started lying more. "I'm going to church," she would tell Michael. She was going to Steve. "I'm staying at Dora's house," she would tell him. She was traveling with Steve to Lagos, to Abuja, once, even to Ghana. Steve would tell her, "I'm taking you on business trips. You'll help me with my work." Esther didn't ask what the work was. She didn't want to know. All she cared about was the money, the hotels, the attention, and the way Steve touched her. Michael prayed for her every night. She could hear him through the bedroom door. "God, please bring my wife back to me," he would whisper. Esther ignored it. She was too happy. Or so she thought. Esther found out Steve was a drug dealer about 6 months into the affair. She was in his house when police sirens went off. He grabbed her and pulled her into a back room. "Don't move. Don't make a sound," he whispered. They sat in the dark for an hour. The sirens passed. The house was quiet again. "What's happening?" she asked. He looked at her. "I deal in drugs. Big business. Millions of naira. That's why I have money. That's why I can take you everywhere." Esther should have left him right then. She didn't. "Will you go to jail?" she asked. "No. I'm smart. I have people in government. I pay them. I'm protected." He kissed her. "Don't worry about it. Just enjoy the money." So she did. He started asking her to carry packages. "Just small things," he said. "Across the border. To Ghana. To Cameroon. It's easy money. Nobody will suspect a pretty woman like you." Esther was scared. But the money was good. She started carrying packages for him. She became part of his drug operation. Michael had no idea. What Esther didn't know was that Dora had set her up from the beginning. Years ago, Dora had fallen in love with Steve. She gave him everything. Her body. Her love. Her money. She thought he would marry her. He promised he would. Then he disappeared. He ran away with another woman. He married her. Then he divorced her. He moved on to other women. Dora was broken. She never got over it. When she met Esther, she saw a chance for revenge. She knew that if she introduced Esther to Steve, the young woman would distract him. She would make him weak. She would ruin his focus on his business. She wanted to destroy him. She wanted Esther to be the weapon. And Esther was. Esther didn't know any of this. She thought Dora was a friend, but Esther had her own plan too. She was tired of Steve. She was tired of the lies. She was tired of the fear. She wanted out. She wanted to leave Nigeria. She wanted to go to South Africa and start a new life with the money she had saved. So she started to steal from Steve. She copied his documents. She took pictures of his deals. She wrote down names and places. She gathered information about his drug routes, his clients, his money. She told herself it was survival. She told herself he was a criminal and deserved it. She told herself she was doing the right thing. But she was just being a thief. She was planning to report him to the authorities and run away with his money. Dora made her move. She contacted a federal agent secretly. She told him about Steve's drug operation. She told him about the deals. She gave him evidence. Then she told him about Esther. "There's a woman," she said. "Her name is Esther. She's Steve's girlfriend. She's his partner in the drug business. She carries the packages. She's the one who connects him to people in other countries." It was a lie. But it was partly true. The agent listened. Dora sent him pictures of Esther. Pictures of her in hotels with Steve. Pictures of her carrying bags. Pictures that made her look guilty. She told the agent to arrest both of them. She wanted them both to fall. She didn't care if Esther went to jail. She wanted revenge on Steve, and she wanted Esther to suffer for taking him from her. It happened on a night in Port Harcourt. Esther and Steve had just completed a big deal. They had made a lot of money. They went back to their hotel room to celebrate. Steve opened a bottle of expensive champagne. He poured 2 glasses. "To us," he said, smiling. Esther drank hers slowly. She was thinking about her escape plan. She was thinking about South Africa. She was thinking about the new life she would have without him. "I'm going to take a shower," she told him. "Okay, baby. I'll be here waiting." She went into the bathroom. She took her time. She was nervous about what was coming next. When she came out 20 minutes later, something was wrong. Steve was lying on the table with his head down. "Steve," she called out. No answer. She touched his shoulder. His body was cold. "Steve!" she screamed. He was dead. The police came through the door 2 minutes later. There was no warning. No knock. They just burst in with guns and masks. "Don't move," they shouted. Esther raised her hands. They found the drugs in the room. They found the copies of Steve's documents that she had hidden. They found the pictures. They found everything. "Esther Okoro, you are under arrest for drug trafficking and murder," the officer said, putting handcuffs on her. "I didn't kill him," she screamed. "I didn't kill him. Please. I didn't do it." They didn't care. They dragged her away. The last thing she saw was Steve's body on the table, cold and dead. They took Esther to Owerri prison for women. The first day was the worst day of her life. The cell was dirty. The walls were covered with mold. There was no bed, just a mat on the floor. The toilet was a hole. The sink had no running water. There were 12 women in a cell made for 4. The smell was unbearable. The guards were cruel. They hit the prisoners with batons for small things. They starved them. They ignored them when they were sick. Esther cried every single night. She thought about Michael. She thought about how she had left him for a man who was dead. She thought about how she had lied to him every day. She thought about his prayers and his love. She thought about Dora. She realized too late that Dora had used her. She had played her like a game. She had gotten revenge on Steve, and Esther had gone to jail for it. She thought about her mother. She had warned her to find a good man. Michael was good. And Esther had thrown him away. Esther was 26 years old, and her life was over. Rumors spread about how Steve died. Some people said he was poisoned. Some people said he overdosed on his own drugs. Some people said Dora had paid someone to kill him. The truth never came out. The investigation ended quickly. Too quickly. Some people said the police were paid off. Some people said the government wanted the case closed. Esther was charged with drug trafficking and murder. The evidence against her was the documents she had stolen and the fact that she was in the room when he died. Her lawyer was useless. He was a public defender. He didn't care about her case. He told her to plead guilty and get a shorter sentence. She refused. She told the truth in court. She said she didn't kill Steve. She said she was carrying drugs for him, but she didn't kill him. The judge didn't believe her. He said, "You were part of a criminal operation. You are guilty by association. You carried drugs across borders. You stole from your boyfriend. You lied to your husband. Your character is questionable. I find you guilty." He gave her 15 years. 15 years. She was crying in court. She was screaming. She was begging. "I didn't kill him. I didn't kill him." Nobody listened. Michael came to see Esther in prison once. One time in the entire first year. He looked different. He was thinner. His face was sad. His eyes were tired. "How are you?" he asked quietly. "Michael, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was stupid. I was selfish. I don't expect you to forgive me, but..." He raised his hand to stop her. "I prayed for you every day," he said. "I prayed that God would bring you back to me. I prayed that you would leave that man. I prayed that this wouldn't happen." Esther cried. "I listened to all of it," he continued. "I heard you on the phone with that man. I saw the lies. I knew what was happening. And I still loved you. I still prayed for you. I know. I know. I'm sorry." He stood up to leave. "Michael, please. Don't go. Please don't leave me." He looked at her with sad eyes. "I can't wait forever, Esther. I have to move on. I have to live my life. I hope you find peace in here. I hope God forgives you. But I can't." He walked away. That was the last time Esther saw Michael. She never saw him again. Years passed. 10 years passed. Dora grew older. She never married. She never had children. She lived alone in her house. The revenge didn't make her happy. The revenge didn't give her peace. She thought about Esther every day. She thought about her laughter. She thought about the friendship they had. She thought about what she had done. She became sad. She became lonely. She became depressed. She tried to reach out to Esther through the prison chaplain. She wrote her letters. Esther refused to read them. "Tell her to leave me alone," Esther said. "Tell her that what she did destroyed my life. Tell her that I don't want to hear from her." Dora kept trying anyway. But Esther wouldn't respond. She was angry. She was hurt. She wanted Dora to suffer like she was suffering. But something changed in Esther after 5 years in prison. She was angry at the world. She was angry at Dora. She was angry at Steve. She was angry at herself. She was angry at God. But anger doesn't change anything. One day, a prison chaplain gave her a Bible. Esther started reading it. At first, she didn't understand it. But the more she read, the more it spoke to her. She read about forgiveness. She read about redemption. She read about people who had done terrible things but were saved by God. She started going to prayers in the chapel. She started joining the prison choir. Her voice was still beautiful, even in prison. She started helping new inmates. Many of them were like her. They were broken. They were lost. They were angry. She would listen to their stories. She would tell them hers. Esther became a counselor in the prison. Women would come to her and tell her their problems. She would listen. She would pray with them. She would tell them that God had not abandoned them. Slowly, Esther started to heal. After 10 years, Esther was granted early release for good behavior. The warden came to her. "Esther, you're being released. You've been a model prisoner. You've helped many women here. Your case has been reviewed, and the authorities believe you've served your time." She cried. But they were different tears now. They were tears of hope. When Esther walked out of the prison, the sun was bright. The air was fresh. She felt like she was born again. She had very little. A small bag with a few clothes. Some letters from women she had helped. A Bible. That was all. But she had her life back. Esther didn't go back to Michael. He had moved on, and she didn't blame him. He had married someone else. He had a family now. He was happy. And Esther was happy for him. Instead, she started a small tailoring business. She bought a sewing machine with money from a support organization for released prisoners. She started making clothes for people in the community. Business was slow at first, but people knew her story. They knew she was a changed woman. They supported her. She worked hard. She saved money. She expanded her business. More importantly, Esther started speaking at women's events. She would go to churches and schools and women's organizations. She would tell her story. I was like you, she would say to young women. I was beautiful. I was ambitious. I wanted money and luxury. I wanted a man who could make me feel alive. And I destroyed my life chasing those things. I met people who pretended to be my friends but were really my enemies. I got involved in things I shouldn't have. I made choices that I can never undo. I went to jail. I lost my youth. I lost my marriage. I lost everything. But in jail, I found God. I found redemption. I learned that the only thing that matters is being a good person and helping others. Don't make my mistakes. Don't let quick money destroy you. Don't let false friends use you. Don't give your body and soul to a man who doesn't love you. Women cried when Esther spoke. Some of them recognized themselves in her story. She wrote a book. She called it, From Beauty to Bars, How 2 Minutes in Bed Destroyed My Life. The book sold. Not millions, but enough to help her make more money to support herself. 5 years after Esther was released from prison, a man came to her tailoring shop. He handed her an envelope from Dora. Esther's hands shook as she opened it. The letter confessed everything, poisoning Steve, setting Esther up, living a life of regret. Dora was dying of cancer. She had 2 weeks left. I'm sorry for what I did. I'm sorry for using you. I'm sorry for the 15 years you spent in jail because of me. If you can find it in your heart to forgive me, not for my sake, but for yours, then maybe my death will mean something. Because forgiveness is the only freedom that matters. With deep regret and love. Dora. Esther cried, not angry tears, but tears of understanding. She realized that Dora had suffered too. That holding on to anger was like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. She went to the hospital. Dora was small in the bed, hooked up to machines, looking like she was already disappearing. When Dora saw Esther, she cried. Esther, you came. I didn't think you would come. Esther took her hand. I forgive you. Dora looked at her like she couldn't believe what she was hearing. Not because what you did was okay, Esther continued. You destroyed my life. You set me up. You poisoned my boyfriend and let me go to jail for it. But I forgive you because I need to be free. And I can't be free while I'm still holding on to this anger. Dora cried harder. I wasted my life. I spent it on revenge, and it destroyed me. You can still ask God for forgiveness, Esther said. It's not too late. Dora died 3 weeks later. Esther was holding her hand. The end. This is the true story of how a moment of weakness, a betrayal by a false friend, and a choice to follow lust over love destroyed a young woman's life. But it's also the story of how redemption, faith, and forgiveness can bring freedom even after the deepest fall. It's a story for every woman who has made mistakes. The moral. It didn't start with drugs. It didn't start with murder. It started with dissatisfaction. 2 minutes of weakness. Years of consequence. Sometimes the devil doesn't knock loudly. Sometimes he waits in hallways. And sometimes you open the door yourself. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next story. Like, share and comment what would have been the best solution for Michael and Esther's 2-minute sex life. Tell us which part of the world you are watching from. And stay tuned for the next story.